Welcome to your next step up the self-publishing mountain.
I'm Matilda Swift, author of quintessentially British cozy mysteries.
And I'm Samantha Cummings, author of young adult books about magic, myths and monsters.
I've written the books,
Changed their covers,
tweaked their blurbs,
tried tools from a dozen ads courses.
and I'm still not seeing success.
Now, we're working together to plot and plan our way from barely making ends meet to pulling in a living wage.
Join us on our journey where we'll be mastering the pen to snag that paycheck.
Hello and welcome to Pen to Paycheck Authors Podcast. I'm Samantha Cummings, here with my co-host Matilda Swift, and we're here to write our way to financial success. We're two indie authors with over a dozen books between us and still a long way to go towards the quit the day job dream. If that sounds familiar, listen along for our Mastery Through Missteps journey. Each week we cover a topic to help along the way, and this week's topic is one of our favourites, mindset. But before we get into that, let's do our wins and whinges of the week.
It's been a long time since we recorded because I was away on my Greek island writing retreat.
Yes.
It's my smug voice. It was phenomenal. So that is my win. Is that the retreat was like, you think of like something being perfect and wonderful, and then it really is that way. It was fantastic. It was weirdly beset by problems because the group is jinxed. Last time we met together, the pandemic started. We were like in Hong Kong on a writing retreat then, and the pandemic just broke out. And this time, somebody had their passport stolen. Somebody's phone broke in our little house.
Gracious.
The fridge broke down in the middle of the night and just kept beeping, and I couldn't make it stop. My cat sitters hadn't given them the right key, and they couldn't get in the house. So they were trying to like get a locksmith. Just like constant problems. Everyone had some sort of issue, except for one person who I believe is absorbing all our power, but I will name no names. But yes, it was fantastic. So we did a 9-day trip, but like 2 of those days either side were traveling. So I wrote on 8 days. In fact, I wrote on 7 days, and one was in the middle, like doing a little adventure day and did a planning. And I wrote 34,000 words, which felt phenomenal. Finished a novella, wrote the first third of a novel, and planned my 2027 series. So it was just like living my absolute best life. And we still had time to like go down to the beach every day. I did yoga in the morning, just like looking out over the Aegean. We had like such a good schedule. We were just like literally following an agenda. It was like pinch of the fridge. We had a schedule. We wrote every day between like 9 and 5, and had little breaks, and we did activities together, and then we went out for dinner on the beach. Just phenomenal. So all wins from that. Could not have been better.
Sounds so good.
And it's so good that I revived my plan that I had at the start of the pandemic to take my own little mini personal writing retreat every 6 weeks, to try and go to like a very cheap youth hostel and just stay there for a few nights and write, because I am so bad at writing at home. And this is a topic we'll get onto today. I am just procrastinating no end. So I live 2 minutes from a hostel that is a lovely little hostel that has like an outdoor terrace. It has a artist in residence. It's, I can come home and feed the cats, and it's got a really nice like environment there. So I'm just, as a tester, I've booked a few nights in this little hostel, and in a little 4-bed women only dorm, so it should be nice and quiet. And yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get a lot of writing done there. And if it goes really well, I'm gonna book some more regular retreats for myself, because that is my best writing life. How about you?
I have not had, obviously, such a great time because I wasn't on a retreat. I was just here living my life. And like, to the point, it's funny because we haven't recorded in like a week or 2 weeks because we batched
I think
our
more.
content. Yeah, like I have no idea when we last recorded. And when I don't have that structure in my week, I literally have no idea what's going on. So like, I don't know where this month has gone. I don't know. I have not known what day it's been for weeks. Like,
this is the only anchor in your week, even though you have a job.
Basically, yeah. Like, my job is like just muscle memory at this point. I just like get up and go, and I do stuff, and I come home. But without this specific thing, I have no idea where I am. So I've been a little bit like just untethered. So that's been weird. But I've had like good weeks. I sent out my book boxes to book reviewers because I had my my third book came out last week in the series. Like, that's a win. Like, I've like lost like this. I've just lost track of time.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me last week, who I work with, like, when's your new book out? And I was like, 2 days ago. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't mention it. Like, just completely, gone over my head. So yeah, I sent out some books to some reviewers, and they've been received, and everyone's messaged me saying like how appreciative they are.
Love a
And
paper chase card.
yeah, a little paper chase card there. I did wax seals on the envelopes. I put in like little fake tattoos, like because my characters have little like tattoos to mark them as part of the pack. So I did these little like moon kind of astrally kind of little tattoo things for everyone. And also made little potion tea bags, which were Wolfsbane potions. And yeah, everyone's like sent me messages and posted on Instagram and stuff. And that's been really nice just to have that connection with readers and to have a little bit more like, I feel like I'm not talking to a void. Like these people know I exist now. And yeah, it's been really nice. I've also just for the first time, I feel like I've done this before, but not like properly thought about it. So I've booked myself into some email promos. Now that I've got the full series out, I put the first book on sale, and I'm going to go out into some emails next week. But my whinge on the back of that is that when I was paying the invoice for one of them this morning, it kept saying payment failed. So I kept trying, but it didn't fail. And I have now paid them about 6 times the amount that it was supposed to be. So it's like a fun morning. I was like, all the payment notifications have come through. Brilliant. So I've just paid like hundreds of pounds for one thing. I'm in a place in my life where that's fine. I can absorb the cost, and I've just emailed them to say like, I'm going to need a refund. They've been really nice about it. But it's just one of those things where you feel like you've done something really good, and then like just the stupidest thing kicks you in the teeth. Yeah, like, and it's like it's always so annoying because it's always something so stupid, and you're like, why didn't I just wait?
Like if it says failed and you try again, right?
Yeah,
that's not on you.
And I tried like with multiple cards from multiple accounts, so it's just like so messy. So that's been fun. That's like my whinge, and that's okay. Yeah, I just also have been a little bit low energy, but I think I'm on the way to like a mental breakdown, which I've been telling everyone because my birthday's next week and it's my big 40, and I feel like I'm gonna have a big 40 breakdown. So
that is mystifying to me because I did not have a 40 breakdown. I feel like it feels better than 39 to me.
Yeah, I don't like 39. I just like to have, when I hit like big age jumps, like something that feels like a difference, I like to have a little bit of a breakdown. So when I turned 30, I bleached my hair and started dyeing it mental colours. I think when I turned 35, I pierced my nose. Maybe not. Maybe I did that earlier, but I was like in a thing where I was just like, I'm going to walk in somewhere and get my nose pierced. And I do feel like I'm going to get some other piercings. I almost did yesterday. I'm feeling like I walk into a piercing place very soon in my future.
This is a big division between us. When I was 30, I went to the Great Wall of China and did a walk along that for a weekend by myself. And then when I was 35, I went to New York to see Hamilton with my dad.
Yeah, I know.
I like a big trip.
I want to put holes in my body. I just pierce something or bleach my hair. Maybe
so I think
I could shave my head. Who knows? Like I always promise that I'm going to shave my head. That could be 40.
I think I've got a weird shaped head. I don't think it would look good for me.
That could be 50. I don't know because I'm still kind of enjoying bleaching and dyeing my hair. So I could save that breakdown for 50. That feels like it would be a really cool.
What about like a face tattoo?
Yeah, I could do. Yeah. Some sort of, I mean, I do have tattoos also lined up in my future. So, but they're more like because they're big spends. I want something that's just like quick and easy, like a random piercing. I say random, literally like I haven't even got my ears pierced, so it would just be like a cuff on my ear, you know. Never my lobes pierced though. Never my lobes. That's too normal.
Wow. I mean, I've got like 12, so I think you want to go all in. Just get 12 done at once.
Yes, that's what I think. I just got to get them all, apart from the lobes, just all down the sides of my ears. Yeah. So that's where I'm at right now.
Okay. We talked about this before. I think we both feel a bit cuspy, a bit like things are happening, but in a way that I think maybe we might both cry today. I don't know why. I think like we're both just really busy, like really working at peak busyness, but also trying to really level up. So as I said, today is mindset topic, which we have talked about a lot over the course of the podcast. But today, I think we haven't talked about it in a while, and I think we also wanted to have like a really frank discussion about where we're at now. which might lead to crying, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm a real crier, so actually I cry all the time, and I'm not. I think people should cry more. It's very cathartic.
I agree that people should. I'm not really a crier, and as I get older, I feel like I'm becoming more of a crier. But generally in life, I don't really cry at stuff. But yeah, part of my mental breakdown, I think, is gonna be crying.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
It's fine. I'm okay with that.
But yeah, I think we're
Yeah,
both trying very hard things.
we
So,
are.
did you make a list of things? So we sort of
Of course.
internally title this episode "The Things We Need to Go to Therapy For," because I
Mm.
think we've been working on mindset for so long that now that, and we bring up the same things again and again. I think now we've got a really clear idea of like the things that are genuinely holding us back, and actually we might go to therapy for. Like, so I had therapy last year, and
Mhm.
I really appreciated actually having a period to just like stop and think about things and like process that and live with the kind of the thoughts that had come out of that. But and now I really kind of feel better able to recognize the things that are holding me back, that are just mental blocks. So I have got a list today, which unlike me, but
It
it also
is.
might be like a preparing list for like my return to therapy. So what's on your list? Or what's
I'm
the
gonna
first thing on your list?
I'm gonna start with the thing that made us, I think about this episode in the first place, which was my two wolves. So
Mm,
um, the my two wolves my two wolves, personal ones, are my desire for attention and wanting to
hmm
be seen, mixed with my desire to be completely invisible and to never be perceived by anybody ever again. and, and that is a huge has always been a huge problem in my life. I am like a middle child, so I am always desperate for attention, and I hate not getting attention when from people that I know. And I like to be the center of attention. I like people to notice what I'm doing, but I also, when it's from other people outside of my comfort zone of humans,
hmm
I don't want anybody to ever perceive me, and that's a difficult place to be mentally when you're in a career that demands to be seen in some ways. And I
mm
mean, and I put myself out on the internet a lot to be seen, but sometimes I find myself then also feeling like I want to, like, oh, like I wish I'd never done that, and I just want to delete. I'm
mm
a big like knee jerk overreaction person where I just think to myself, I'm just going to delete everything and disappear. So I really struggle with those. I know
Yeah.
specifically where that came from as well, this is why I think that like this is the kind of should go to therapy for it.
hmm
Because when I was, and I really I've held on to this for my entire life. So when I was a very small child, there were two specific things that happened in primary school, which I feel like are the catalyst of all of this. So the first one was
Can I just check before you reveal these stories? Was I involved in
yeah,
either of them? Because I wouldn't remember, but am I to blame for anything?
you are not to blame. Yeah, I met this
Okay.
person who who then years later
She didn't remember me at all.
refused to accept that we'd met. No, it's nothing to do with you. The first memory that I have that sticks with me is the fact that when I was a very young child and I went to, in the village that I grew up, there was a Catholic school where the teachers were nuns. They're not
Mm,
always the great teachers. One of them was amazing, but the other ones were not so great. And there was a particular one that kind of made everyone cry. And we were in a class and we got told the task was, I was literally like 4 years old, draw a cat.
hmm
And I drew a cat the only way I knew at the time how to draw a cat, which was kind of like a cartoon cat. And I took the picture up to the front
What's
and
the alternative at 4? Like, you're making a photorealistic cat?
basically that's what she wanted. So I drew a cat that was like, like a big round face in the middle, and you do like the dots and like you connect all these things and it turns into a cat. Like a kind of how you've been taught to draw a cat as a child is like a specific way, like following a pattern in
Mm.
like, I don't really know how to describe it. And I was like basically shouted at because the cat wasn't real enough. It was too much of a cartoon cat. And she made me go back and draw it again multiple times, like in front. And she would like look at the picture in front of the whole class and say, like, "This isn't what a cat looks like. Go away and do this again." Like, obviously, horrible experience. Have never forgotten it. And I
Yeah.
think
I
that
mean, when I was in
that's
primary school, like that age, I drew pictures of like my teacher's parents get kidnapped and like one of my parents on a bonfire. And my parents are called in over this.
was just trying to draw a cat. I don't even think at that point in my life I'd seen a cat. Like no idea. I have no recollection. I doubt I'd seen a cat. So it was very, very specifically horrifying, and I've never forgot it. And then the other one is when I was a little bit older, and my school we used to do a lot of music productions, which I loved. We used to actually perform Disney songs for there was this thing that all the schools would come together and we'd do a big concert, and it was Disney songs. Oh, it was the best time. And I love singing. And I blame this teacher, even though I don't remember what the teacher's name was. I blame her for basically ruining my singing career before it could even start, because I would love to be a singer, but I couldn't possibly, because I wanted to do a solo, and her reaction to this was like, oh, if you want to do a solo, come and let me know. So I walked up to her and I said, I'd like to do a solo, because even as a child, I knew I had the pipes. I was like, I could do this. I'm great at singing. But she then said, well, okay, sing right here, right now. Let's hear it. No preparation, just a rug pull. Perform, child, perform. And I was too scared. I had never done that before. So I was like, oh no, I don't want to do that. And she then basically said, well, then tough luck, you can't sing the song, get out of here. And it was I just remember that the crushed feeling of thinking but I know that I can do it, and I think that if I'd have been encouraged to, my life would be different. So
yeah. And it's I'm sure there were thousands of things like this, right? Just that push you in different directions, but those two really stick with you. I know for me, with memories like this, I've got such a terrible memory that I've maybe got half a dozen memories from being a little kid, and they I'm not even sure they're real. It's not really about the actual memory. It's you build up a narrative for yourself over these things.
The feeling.
And then how do you get past that? Because it's you've even if it's not real, you told yourself the story so many times that it becomes real to you, and there's sort of no way to. It feels like you have to go back and undo it, but it's not true, right? There's ways to get around this, but
yeah.
But yeah, do you think that your kind of dual desires to be seen and not seen impacts what you do in your marketing?
Yes. Yeah, I do think so, because I think that sometimes the idea of fame, I'll say fame just as the broadest term possible, it's very off-putting to me. So, and that used to, it's funny because I feel like that used to hold me back when I was trying to go trad instead. When I was trying to get an agent, I used to panic and think if I actually got an agent, I would have to go and do things like book signings and travel around and meet people. And to me, that sounded like literally the worst experience that I could possibly go through. But it was for the thing that I wanted the most in the world. So that was a very difficult thing to try and wrap my head around. Was I want to write books, but I don't want somebody to tell me that I have to go and do something and perform for people.
Even though you also like attention, because I feel I don't like attention.
Love attention.
Yeah, and it's I have had a solo. I had a solo in Manchester Cathedral, and I did not enjoy it even a little bit, because there's so much potential for failure, and you know how I hate to be a failure.
Yes.
That's why I need therapy. You can only be either perfect or a failure, and I was not perfect. It was Away in a Manger as well. It's a really hard song to sing.
Oh, that is, yeah. Oh, what a great song.
Yeah, I mean, Voice of an Angel. I probably was better than I think I was. But anyway, so yeah, I don't like attention, but I still think it doesn't bother me so much that if for some reason someone's like, oh, do you want to publish all your books and give you £1 million, and can you go on a book tour? I'd be like, yeah, fine. Because I don't care about people's attention.
To me, that's talking in public, because I have this I go very red when I'm embarrassed, but I also go very red when I'm not embarrassed. But the fact that I go red makes me feel embarrassed, because I think people will think I'm embarrassed because I've gone red. So it's this whole vicious circle of I just have very reaction. I'm so pale, and I've got very reactionary skin. I'm just I'm like the little squid in Finding Nemo that just inks itself.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I definitely have that more in the past, and it's interesting. I don't really know what's got past it. I've just done more public things and stood up on stages more.
Yeah.
And part of it is in my job I've had to do that, and part of it was, various things that you do a little bit of and then you realize you can do it.
I think that's more it. I need to basically be the adult in that scenario of if I'm scared to do something, or I feel like I want to do something, but I'm like, I want to shrink back from it. If I was the teacher in that situation and like my child self came to me, this is like proper therapy. If my child self came to me and said I wanted to do something, but I was scared, as the teacher, I would have said, well, let's like find a way to like build up your confidence. And that's probably what I need to take more time doing, is like if I'm scared to do something, or if I feel like I want to kind of hide away, like, oh no, I don't actually want to be seen. Maybe just like try and find a path that feels more comfortable to build up the resilience to it.
Yeah, but I think some of it to an extent is just like not caring, right? Because people can see, I also go very red, and I just don't care. I think that's it.
I have definitely, as I gotten older, I care less. Like, as I've gotten older, I feel like it's like I've taken a long time. I know who I am in my head, but it's taken me a long time to let that person be out in the real world. And the older I get, the more I feel like I'm far more comfortable just being like, everyone knows that I'm weird anyway, but I definitely feel more comfortable being weird in front of people I don't know, like just like being silly, and like I'll dance around in a supermarket, or I'll sing to myself whilst I'm shopping, and just generally try and be the person that people would look at and think, she looks like she's having a good time. Like that's I'm definitely getting way more like that, and I like that about
when
myself.
You hit 40, that's
that's it. Like I'm just thinking, like when I hit 40, that's it. Like I'm not gonna be embarrassed anymore, and I'm not gonna shy away from attention. But as of right now, I do feel like I shy away from attention in some way. So that's what I need therapy for. Do you want to talk through what your first thing?
Yeah, we'll see if I can find a connected one. It's sort of connected. So when I was thinking through this, like I had a lot of minor thoughts that kind of came up that were sort of connected to the audacity list. So things like, I'm still maybe not quite enough claiming authority, but I'm definitely feel like I'm getting better on that. But there are still some sticky points that I feel like I'm not making improvements in, and I know they're holding me back. And one is I just don't really think I'll be successful. Like on a fundamental level, I don't believe it, and that's not necessarily I don't believe it all the time. If you had to like put a gun to my head, I don't know where you get a gun in England, but if you had to put a gun to my head, and like ask me what I really felt like, I really don't feel like I will be successful enough to become a full-time writer, because that just feels so much like a thing for other people.
Yeah.
And that's not really particularly tied to the actual writing thing. Like it's very much tied to like the concept of other people are successful and I am not. And that comes from, I could name all the only childhood memories I have are pretty much come from connections to that. Like things where I have done really successful things as a kid that like if I had to write them down, you'd be like, wow, this person's done like this solo at Manchester Cathedral. I was invited to do that. Loads of things like that just got turned into something negative, and sort of make me feel like any success gets turned into something negative. And also I'm fundamentally in some way a person who doesn't deserve the success, or it was like a lucky fluke, or anything like that. Like I've got the voice in my head is just like very much negative, and will tell me all day long that I won't be successful.
And is that your voice, or is that somebody else's voice?
I can't really distinct. I also like an pitch in my head. I have no voice in my head.
Oh yeah,
in the way that like doesn't sound like anybody else. But yeah, I think it's someone else's voice that has become my voice, and it very much feels like there's a limit to what I can really do about it myself. And I think that is a thing where I need to maybe have some like. It's really tricky, right? Because like even when I was having therapy last year, it was useful, but also it's just giving you a chance to talk about things that you already know when you're asked the right questions, like asking the question of like, is that your voice? It's like, no, but having that conversation about it only gets you so far. And like, you really just need to like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Time machine?
Yeah, that's a difficult part, because if you are somebody who's very in tune with your own mental state, like I feel like we're both quite emotionally intellectual people, you can know so much about yourself that you can't know like what the steps are to get out of the problem that you've got. Like you can like like, oh, I need to do this to make myself feel better, but that actually doesn't make you feel better.
Yeah, and you can't not believe what you believe. So it's like, well,
Yeah. Yeah,
it
it's
sounds like truth in my head, so how do I not believe that?
yeah. I find it very difficult. I mean, my ghost boyfriend struggles very much with mental health. And so I know, like, I'm often the positive, like, voice trying to, like, guide him through stuff. And it's like I could see firsthand how somebody else struggles even when you're telling them like the right things. You
Mm,
can't convince them to believe it, and you can't convince yourself to believe stuff. It's like mental health is insane. So
yeah. But
it's like, how
also,
do you trick yourself into? It's because it feels like you
yeah,
have to trick yourself. It's like,
yeah,
it's not. I don't
because you
feel like
lie to
it's
yourself.
learning. It's like, yeah, it's like tricking yourself into believing something.
But I definitely, we talked about this just today, of like things that I definitely have like I've improved on. Like I
Mm-hmm.
feel way more confident, in front of a crowd. Like I could sing a solo in Manchester Cathedral now, and I wouldn't be particularly bothered by it partly because I fundamentally don't care what other people think of my singing. Um,
I could do it if they were all drunk, because when I go to karaoke, I don't drink and I let everybody else drink, because I know then
mhm,
that they are the impaired ones and I'm the perfect one.
mhm.
I feel like that's like a sick thing that I do to people.
So that is tricky. Yeah. But so I think there are things that I've improved on. It's just I think what I want to be really conscious of at the moment are things that they're places where I still need to make improvements, and it's actively holding me back in my career, because I definitely think
Mm,
there are things where if I lost my job today, I could make a career, right? I could make money.
yeah,
I think that's probably true. And like
yeah.
I was looking recently, we talked about this before, like I was at the SPS conference, and several people there who went full time, they did it because they had lost their jobs. They had to
Hmm.
make money. And I also saw recently, I think, a 20 books post about people that had gone full time. And several people in there were talking about, I had enough savings to last me a year. I wasn't really in the financial position to actually make money from my books or whatever they were doing. And I didn't for the whole year. And I was on the verge of having to go back to work. And then I finally made it work in the last month. And so much of actually being successful enough to make a living is not really about what you're doing. It's more about your mindset of like how much you need to do it.
Yeah.
And then you change, because these people will say like, I just wasn't being professional enough. And I know I'm not being professional enough in my business. I know
Hmm.
there are so many things I could be doing to be much better. Um, and some of it is just like I feel like I'm literally limited on time, right? Like I am
Hmm.
busy, but
Yeah.
also another thing on my list that I don't really have a great amount to say about it is just like I just procrastinate all the time.
Yes.
And I cannot differentiate between procrastination and rest.
Hmm.
And I think my body says rest, and I'm like, no, I cannot rest. I'm so busy. I need to do 10 million things. So then I just like, but I'll take 5 minutes to scroll on my phone. And it's like, and then it's an hour later, you're like, well, I should just rested. I should have for a walk. And I'm
Yeah.
terrible at it. And that just comes kind of into the same problem of if I if I knew in a year I was going to be
Hmm.
successful, and I knew all I had to do was like you know, make my business professional, I think I would treat my time differently. But
Hmm.
it's because I don't believe it will happen. So it's like, well, I'm not going to kill myself. Like I will work really hard, but I'm not going to
Yeah.
take myself too seriously,
Yeah,
because
like
that's foolish.
I very much have the like every now and again I'll play the lottery, because I convince myself that it's my time to win
Mm,
60 million pounds, like something ridiculous.
ideal. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like if I can believe it hard enough, like if I can imagine spending the money, if I can imagine going and looking at houses and like walking into a house and be like, oh my god, like look how much space I have, look at the garden I have, and if I can imagine the lifestyle, then surely I can manifest a lottery win, which is obviously like ridiculous. And I know like part of me is like, that's not how it works. But then another part of me, because I love to believe in like magic and manifesting, and that part of me does think, but why not? Like, why not you? And I struggle with that kind of dream, like wish fulfillment mindset, to know the difference between playing the lottery and
Hmm.
working full time as a writer.
Mm,
Like I don't understand the difference of those dreams that I have. If I can imagine it, obviously I'm putting the work into being a writer. So it's more like um possible that I will get to be full time because I'm putting the work in. But at the same time it still feels like that imagined like reality of me doing this full time is as realistic as me winning the lottery.
hmm mm.
And that
Yeah.
is like a real mind-bending thing to think.
Yeah.
Is like what part of my imagination is the real one? Because I live in my head a lot anyway. It's like someone with I know I have to bring up ADHD in every time I talk about myself, but like ADHD, like one of the things about it is having like a ridiculously active imagination, and I do feel like within my mind is a universe, and within that universe everything and anything is possible, and I spend a lot of time thinking about the possibilities, and I don't know like how to manifest that into my own life. I don't
Or
know
even like I
what's
think
what's
I
the
don't
most
do
real.
manifesting. I think for me it's like how to literally like take actions to make something come true, because I don't
Yes,
believe it
yeah,
will literally come true. Um
but I want to
yeah,
because I
because
want to
like
believe in magic.
so I when I was on this retreat, you know, it was really tiring. I couldn't work that hard every week because I had no weekend, and I was really like fully into writing all day every day. It was exhausting. But say I worked not quite that hard,
Mhm.
I could get out a book a month. In a series that is popular enough that if I had more books in the series, I would make money from it. I only have 3 books, and they're short books, so it's like it's hard for me to get ads to break to make enough money because I just don't have enough words. But if I had a dozen books, you know, just looking statistically, I would be able to make money.
Mhm.
Um, and I could have a dozen books if I quit my job now and lived off my savings and then wrote those books.
Mhm.
But I don't believe it. So I can't quit my job to live off my savings to write those books that would bring me the money that would allow me to live off my writing,
Mhm.
because I think that it's childish. Like it's not real. I've made a mistake in the calculations. What if something doesn't work? You know, there's just it feels too much like not real for me to
Yeah.
possibly even think about making a plan around. Like I can't make a business plan. It would be like making like a child's drawing, you know,
Yes.
scrawled on in crayon.
Yeah, it does feel like the whole business plan aspect is like you can write the part of business plan that, and this is like just a bit of a tangent, the part of the business plan I'm fine with is the daydream part. This is what I will do. These are the books I'll put out. This is my brand. This is how I will sell
And
my
everyone will
brand.
make £1 million.
Yeah, and then you get to the part where you have to project your figures, and then it literally is like I don't like how could what project what figures? Like I have no data to back up anything. I sell books like as randomly as as anybody starting out, even though I've been doing this for a while. Like there's nothing, I have no data to go off at all.
What we were saying earlier, like we're sort of in many ways like the same mindset level, because like I do have
Mhm.
data now. I've got these books. I could write a projection of how much money I would make, but it still feels the same way. So that is what's really interesting, is like it doesn't feel any more certain. It doesn't feel
Yeah.
any more real, because it isn't real. A projection to me doesn't feel real.
No, you're just like, it is a dream. It's as much a dream
Yeah.
as the idea of writing full time. Like that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am there with you. I feel like it's very difficult to invest when you don't think that you're going to actually get anything out of it at the end, because it just doesn't seem like that's something that would happen to you. I mean, and I don't have any savings because my savings were knocked out when I bought this flat, and then just like I've never made enough money to ever get back into saving.
Mhm.
Like my wage increases have always just been, it's gone up with my bills, you know, like, so I've never got to the point where I could ever save any money. Anything extra that I do make, I now put into this business.
Mhm.
So, so that feels like, for me, like you have savings and you don't feel like you can do that. I don't have savings and I don't feel like I could do that. So it's like a very similar
Yeah.
thing.
It's
It's
not the
like,
money is not the
it's
issue.
the
It's the
money
mindset.
isn't the issue. Yeah, it is the mindset. That's like a very sad thing to realize. But like people must, I really want to meet people. I don't want to hear about people who have done it because they didn't have any other option. I want to
Yeah.
hear from people who, like us, haven't got that option but still do it. Like I want to
Mm.
know, like I want to meet us from the future. I know, like we just have to, like we're just going to become those
We just
people.
have to get
Yeah,
there.
but
Yeah.
I want like to call my future self and say, like,
Yeah.
I need you to just actually tell me at what point the needle moved, because I can't envision it. I can't imagine it ever happening. I mean, but the thing is, I can imagine it happening, but that is as
It's one of the dream scenarios. Yeah, you might
it's
as well
just
win
a
the
dream
lottery. Yeah.
scenario. Yeah, exactly. It's like it's as possible as winning the lottery.
I
Oh,
think we've talked about this before as well. I think this is really symptomatic of the fact like people in self-publishing come from two different sides, either the business side or the writing side. And we are both from the writing side. We're both people who like, I would write anyway, and I would love to make money from the writing.
yeah.
And I've now reached a stage where it's like I can really accept that like I am good at writing. I can write books that people want to read. But I'm not good at business. Like I'm just not good at business. And part of that is just what I'm naturally like. I'm not particularly, you know, I don't like to take like a blind risk where I could be mistaken.
Yeah.
Like a blind risk for an adventure, and a funny story of like, oh, I was in a random country and like just went for a walk and there was a tiger nearby. True story. That's fine. And like, oh, I ran out of water walking through this jungle and had to like take measured steps. Like that's a fun story because I didn't die, and
You're
and also
insane.
there's no consequence. Like
Um,
it was just a brief adventure. Whereas like,
yeah.
oh, I quit my well-paying job and had no way to pay the mortgage because I was an idiot. Like that's not a fun story. That's like
No.
that's the cautionary tale. I can't become a cautionary tale.
No,
I've
and
already got 12 piercings.
you've just segued. You've just like nicely segued into my other thing that I need therapy for. Afraid of the unknown. I am not I'm an adventurous person up until a point. Like I'm adventurous if it's like in my local town where I know what everything looks like, and if I know what things look like and where things are supposed to go, I can be as adventurous as the next person. Like I am.
What I might say is that's not adventurous even a little bit.
Exactly. For me though, like I'm not great at travel. I'm not great at going to places that I've never been before. I like my creature comforts, and yeah, like I'm adventurous up until a very limited point, and then anything outside of that, like anything unknown, fills me with dread and anxiety, and that is something that I really struggle with, is that unknown outcome. And that's like a big deal for me, is that, like I could quit my job, but what does that like, but what would happen? Like I can't even fathom what would happen. It's terrifying. So that's like a big ick for me.
Do you feel like if you had money in the bank and you have money coming in from your books, do you feel like then you'd be able to quit your job? Is it more a financial unknown? It's not just like I don't like that change.
Yeah, I'm fine with change. Strangely, change doesn't bother me. I'm very easygoing, and I roll with punches quite well, like reasonably well. I'm like if it doesn't kill me, I'm sure I'll be fine. But I have like a good support system. Like I've got a very close family, and everyone lives mostly nearby, so like I don't feel like I'm too like in any kind of danger. So it's mostly definitely the money thing. If I had the money, if I had a year's worth of savings, I would quit my job.
Really? Because I would not, clearly, because I haven't.
Or at least go part-time.
Yeah.
Yes, I would do that. If I had the savings, I would do that. Like, no problem. For me, it is just a money scarcity fear thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I had money in the bank and I could budget, I would do it.
Yeah. That's another thing on my list, is like my attitude to money is like I
If I
don't
have it, I'm
feel like
fine.
yeah. I think I don't necessarily have a good sense of like what the issue is. It feels scarce in a way, but I'm not sure it's quite necessarily like quite the same as scarcity, because I do think more money will come. Like I've spent money.
Yeah.
I don't save necessarily super consciously. I've had periods in my life where I just haven't saved at all, and I didn't feel worried about that. I was like, it'll be fine. But I think it's more like stability, like quitting a job. I don't come from like a businessy background. I don't have any sense in which like I feel confident businesses can work, or that I could set one up at all. So it doesn't feel like a stable thing to do, and I just feel like I will be it's almost like it's to do with my independence, like, of my self-sufficiency. I cannot, and this is my other last thing on the list, is inability to ask for help. Because
Yeah.
if I were in trouble and I had used my savings and I wasn't making money, there's no way out of that apart from asking for help, and I hate asking for help. And I
Mm-hmm.
have been really, really consciously trying hard to ask for help recently. So, as I said, when I was in Greece on the very first night that my cat sitters were meant to go into my house and feed the cats, I was out for dinner and I checked my phone, and I hadn't looked at my phone for hours, and there were like 1,000 missed calls and messages
Oh no.
from my cat sitter. In fact, and my actual cat sitter is I think he's either 17 or 18, and he's the son of the woman who runs my roller skating group. So they usually come together as a pair, and like it's kind of his first job, and he's trying to get some experience with doing it. And so he comes, but she brings him usually. But she was away for the weekend, so he had taken a friend with him, and he was obviously super panicked. He's like a real cat lover, so he was really, really panicked, couldn't get in. And like this friend that he's in was very practical, so they'd like called a locksmith. They just wanted me to consent to a locksmith coming out. I have
On your new
just got my
front
door
door.
replaced. My brand new front door that someone drove a truck into, like an 18-wheel truck, into my new front door that
You're
I
not
just
meant.
got replaced. I was
You're
like,
not meant to have a front door.
and I was so panicked. It was like, please don't call a locksmith. Like, there must be something else I can do. And I was like, and partly because I was on holiday, I was really relaxed. And I'm actually trying to ask for help. I was like, okay. Because the problem is I just got my new keys cut, and I was so running out of time when I was going on holiday. I obviously hadn't checked this key in the front door. I'd even thought about doing it, and I know you should do it, and I just didn't do it.
Yeah.
But I had also given my dad a set of keys, which I think I also hadn't checked in the front door. So my dad doesn't live very close to me; it's about an hour drive away, and it was like getting late on a Saturday night, and I was just like, okay, I'm just going to call my dad. I'm going to ask for help. And so I called him and I said, can you go to my house and see if your key works and try and let the cat sitter in and like figure that out? And when it didn't feel like a natural, easy thing to do for me, which is terrible because my dad is like, will offer anyone any help.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's the parent who would like drive everyone home after whatever we were doing.
Yeah.
And he
Your dad's
like, it
great.
wasn't like, he's lovely, and like he loves helping people. Like, he actively enjoys it. My brother's the same, but because I so hate asking for help, it feels like I'm being an enormous burden. And so like, and they had got dinner in the oven, and my stepmom was in the bath. So I called him and it's like, can you go? And it's far away, and it's like it was late. They were having a late dinner because they'd been somewhere else. And he just went. They went and they drove there, and they tried the door. They got in. They fed the cats, and then they had to go and deliver the key to the cat sitters, who don't live very far away from me. They live nearby. They live in quite a hard to find place, which has got like an address that sounds made up because I think they maybe did make it up. And it sounds like, Granny's house in the Witch Forest. That is almost the exact address. So it's quite hard to find. So that was also an issue for them, and I felt terrible. And I live near lots of nice restaurants. They went to like a nice Thai restaurant rather than having their dinner that they made at home. And I said to my dad, like, oh, can I send you the money for the meal? And he's like, no, it's nice to eat out. And then I saw them yesterday for the first time since I've been back. Like, I went round to the house for dinner, and I bought them a big bunch of flowers. And my dad was like, you didn't have to bring us flowers. Like, I didn't expect flowers. I was like, I know, but it was my own fault. Like, there was no one else to blame except me. I should have tried the key in the door. I inconvenienced you massively. And he did not mind at all. He was like,
Yeah.
no, I was happy to help. But this is how much I hate asking for help. But like, just a genuine emergency. Like, the other option was I was going to courier my key home because my cats would have survived if you asked that food.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, there was just like, it still doesn't feel great, but I don't feel awful. I don't feel as awful as I would have done in the past, because even though it's my own fault and I was imperfect, but I
I'm
wish
gonna
I hadn't
tell
had to do
you.
it.
I'm gonna tell you what I would tell anybody, but like particularly my boyfriend, who's very self-critical.
Hmm.
Mistakes happen. It's not a big deal.
Yeah,
It's like
I am trying to
literally.
really, but like, I
Yeah.
don't often make mistakes, so it's fine.
It's like
I'll accept
if
one.
if you break a glass, or if you break anything, or like you forget something, or you leave something behind, or you lose something. It's like that's just
Is
a
it because I'm a bad
mistake.
person? Oh, okay.
No, you're not a bad person. It's not your fault. You're not like you didn't you got enough sleep. You're
Mm,
you didn't deserve it. It's just that it just didn't go your way that time.
yeah,
It's just something that went wrong.
yeah.
I'm like a very I'm actually very hardy in that sense, and that if anything like that goes wrong, I'm very much like a I'm sure somebody can help, but I am very much like you in terms of I don't like asking for help from specific people.
Hmm.
I hate asking for help from my parents. Like, it's like a physical, like I cannot stand asking for help. And
Mhm.
have always been like this. I'm such an attention seeker. So when we were kids, there's 4 of us, and I am like the middle child because there's 3 girls and 1 boy. So I'm the middle girl,
He doesn't
which
really
is
count.
effectively, and my brother doesn't count. So I'm effectively the middle child because he was a brat and he got whatever he wanted, and he still does. And if he's listening, which I doubt he would be, you're a brat. And, we were always offered anything, basically anything we wanted as kids within reason. Like we were allowed to like get sweets and stuff, and
Could you get like a Magnum at the beach? Or like a
yeah, like
Sierra?
we
Oh my
often had.
goodness.
I was a big White Magnum fan, so we'd get White Magnums on a hot
That's a grown-up
day.
ice cream.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, get me a White Magnum. I love it. And yeah, we were like, my dad would take us to the toy shop in the town and say, get whatever you want. And me being the
I think
attention
I'd died of
seeking,
anxiety that often of like, I don't like, what am I supposed to get? Like,
But
what's the smallest?
this
I don't know.
this is the thing. Like, so, and I would always say, I don't want anything. I don't need anything. Don't buy me anything. Apart from like occasionally I'd get a Slovenian family or something,
Oh,
or like a
love a Slovenian
great
family.
bag of marbles. Like I love marbles, so I'd be like occasionally I'd get like a bag of marbles.
Like a Victorian orphan.
I love and this is where my love of crystals started. A bag of marbles from the toy shop, shiny stones. So I've always been that kind of person to be like, no, I don't need anything. And it's kind of like built up to the point now where I don't want anything from my dad or from my parents. I didn't have to. My dad offered me money to help with my down payment on this flat, which was really nice. And I hated the fact that he did it, but at the same time, like, it was very much appreciated because I'm not getting married. So it was like, well, I'm never going to get married, so you might as well give me some money for this. But that was awful, and that was the only time that he's ever seen me cry, when the stress of buying a house and like having to ask for help, and I just like cried because I was like, I hate it. And like my parents will often look after Juno if we have to go to the shops or go to the cinema, and I feel guilty every time, even though they consistently tell me it's fine, we really like having Juno here, she loves it, like it's not a problem, you never have to apologize. But I'm forever like apologizing and hate asking them like and stuff. And my dad always offers to buy me like plane tickets to Tokyo and Australia.
Whoa.
Like this is the thing, like I know, and I'm forever like,
I've been to Tokyo, it's good.
no, I forever refuse. So I feel like I have this thing where I'm like, push away.
Would you refuse for a birthday? Because like my dad got me Hamilton tickets for my birthday, which is like, that was expensive.
Well, no, Hamilton tickets, yeah, I'd take Hamilton tickets, but like, like a couple of grand for a plane ticket seems like excessive.
Yeah.
So to me, that's like, I would never accept that. And my siblings are just like, stop being such a, stop making us look bad. And I'm like, but I'm an adult standing on my own 2 feet, so I don't need anything from anybody. And that is the mindset problem that I have, is I'm an adult standing on my own 2 feet. I shouldn't be accepting handouts. And I also have this weird thing as well of like delayed gratification. So like, I don't want things to come easy to me because I want to earn it. And that is like a crazy, like how much am I holding myself back because I feel like I'm not yet deserving of the thing that I'm chasing.
You're not
Ask
good
the
enough.
Therapist.
Yeah, I do think maybe we should get some therapy over these things. Now I've told these things out loud, they don't sound great.
The list, yeah. That's a huge like, oh no, that's really bad. Like I can't believe, because I'll do things like buy bars of chocolate, and this is like a very like low risk part of this whole thing, but I'm very much known in my family as the person who buys chocolate and it lasts me months. So at Easter I would get Easter eggs and I would have chocolate for months, and my family would come to me and be like, can I have some chocolate? And I'd tell them no, like I didn't eat it so that I could have it months later. So it kind of pays off. I think I've convinced myself that delayed gratification pays off, because it's like, it's fun to be the person that has chocolate left at Easter or at Christmas. Like I would always have Thornton's chocolate covered toffee for months after Christmas.
Oh, that's good.
I was making that last the year. And I've convinced myself that it all pays off and it's worth it. But is it?
Well, you could just buy some more Easter eggs, like buy some more chocolate.
I know. That's the problem. That's why I need therapy.
Yeah. I feel like this episode has come to no conclusion apart
No,
from, but no, I think it is useful to
you've
talk
all
about it and
just
kind of
pulled the
see.
curtain back on how insane we are.
Yeah. Hopefully people are listening. Sorry, guys. But I think it is useful to kind of see how it impacts writing career, because I do think like there are places where I could ask him for more help. The
Yeah.
podcast I'm really enjoying this in the moment is basically like us if we were rich and South African. It's Pen and Prosper. When I say rich, I mean have good careers, making money from books, not independently wealthy, I assume. But they're just fantastic. And like the one of the two hosts, she talks about like she went to SPS and she's been to other conferences, and she'll mention somebody who like I have seen them talk, and she's like, oh yeah, I got chatting to them. I was like, I would never go up to somebody and talk to them, because I would think that's a waste of their time. And I would think like they've got better things to do. I don't belong to be there. Even friends of mine who like are writers who have offered help, like I find it really difficult to accept and to not feel like I'm wasting their time. And I really want to work on that, because why not? Why not waste people's time? Even if I thought that was true, it just doesn't feel. It feels like illegal. That's how bad it feels.
Yeah, I know. I have that same thing, but it's less about wasting time. It's just more about not coming across like as the same intellectual level, because I'm very much like think I'm very like not intellectual. We're not going to talk about that, because that's a whole thing.
Yeah, you've not brought that one up today.
Yeah, because that's like a big topic. That's like too like that's not conversational. That's like like really detrimental to my mental health. Like, that would be the crying one.
When are you getting therapy? Could you ask your dad for some therapy?
Yeah, I can afford therapy on my own. Like, I'm fine.
No.
I've done it myself. I've done it again. I'm an adult who can stand on my own 2 feet, damn it.
Yeah.
No,
I think
I come from a family who don't really believe in therapy, so they wouldn't buy it for me.
What was I going to say? Yeah, I think for me it's like being on the same business level. Like I think I should be able to figure this out by myself. That's where I feel like I can't talk to them until I have figured all the things out, until I've learned all the things myself. And so what I would like, if anyone's listened to this to the end and has remained with us through our neuroses, if you've got any books to recommend, I'd love to book learn my way into positive mindset. Yeah, that would be the ideal for me, because I just think I can do it. I can do it by myself. No, that's not the reason. Is that I do find it very beneficial to read books about like positive mindset things. And I think that because all these things, they're not really like quick fixes. They're like fundamentally just keep working on yourself all the time and keep, moving the needle forward a little bit. Because there's definitely things that I talked about in therapy last year that I have improved on quite a lot, and it wasn't from like every single session. It was from like the things I've done afterwards and thought afterwards and be able to process. It's like, I think I just need to come back to some of these issues and like really focus on them for a bit, and maybe find some books that will help me work through them.
Yeah, and I just need to wait for my birthday and become a different person.
Become wise.
Yeah, become wise, get some ear piercings and maybe like shave my head, and then just be that version of myself that is the best.
Sure, that sounds like a plan. It's good that we're both doing this so well. Yeah.
Okay, how do you feel like you've said everything you need to say?
I do, and I have appreciated like taking the time to really like having to nail down these things and like confront them, because otherwise you just don't think about them and you let them sort of fester in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
So it has been useful, as all the topics are, just to like kind of get it out there and process it.
Name your demons. That's definitely the aim of the game. Okay.
So question of the week this week, really, maybe like what should you go to therapy for?
Or what have you been to therapy for, and what's the outcome? Like, has it helped? Has it helped your business?
Yes. Okay. So like, what mindset issues have you got over to help your business? Let's make it a positive thing. And also, can you recommend any books to me along those lines?
Yeah. Next week we are coming back to talk about our narratives and social objects. I'd forgotten about this. So we're going to be reviewing how we've done with these since we chose them in episode 14 of series 2. Do you have any initial thoughts on this?
I do, because as I said, when I got back from my retreat, I was actually really exhausted. So I decided to take a week off posting. And that was definitely necessary, because it is a creative thing. It takes time and effort, and I just didn't have the bandwidth this week. And then today I got back into it. It felt nice and easy. I have had many compliments on my social media of late since I started doing the social objects. So
Mhm.
I've got only good things to say about it. I'll go into detail next week. But broadly, I'm so glad we did this, and it's made things feel
Yeah.
much easier.
Yes, I agree. I'm really looking forward to doing a good discussion on it. And yeah, like I've loved doing it. Definitely leaned into some more than others.
Mhm.
Just that because that's what naturally happened. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to talking about the outcome and yeah, how fun it's been.
Mhm.
Fantastic. Okay, so thank you very much for listening. And if you're still here, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you
Yeah, sorry,
became our
guys.
therapist. But I think it's important to talk about it because, like, as you don't want to be bottling these things up and then
Mm.
like to feel
Or
like
think
you
you're the only
can't
one.
talk about it. Yeah, like think you're the only one. Like, you can talk about it, and you should find a friend and tell them all about your problems, and then go to
And then
therapy.
make a podcast about it and tell
Yeah,
everyone.
then make a podcast about it. As usual, we are continuing the discussion and all discussions in Discord. So you will find a link in the show notes to that. Discord is forever my favorite place to check in every day and see what people are doing. Yeah, it's just become one of my favorite things, like one of my favorite kind of like social tools. So I love that. Yeah, link in the show notes. And we also obviously still have our coffee. So if you would like to donate any money to us to get therapy,
Yeah.
that's the place to do it. Go
Maybe
and
if you're already donating up the tab because it sounds like we've got some problems.
up the dosage. Yeah, so that will be in the show notes as well. Thank you very much for listening, and we will talk to you next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
You've been listening to Pen to Paycheck Authors.
Stay tuned for our next episode, and don't forget to subscribe to learn how to write your way to financial success.